Hey there, Richard. This is good to get. Yeah, I'm sorry for the short notice, but it's like one of those things where if I don't take advantage of the time I have when I have it, I'm not gonna get it. I
Okay.
appreciate you willing to jump in on this. How was your? Do you do Christmas?
No,
No, so you don't
no.
do like opening presents or nothing.
We have a gift giving thing we're doing tomorrow night.
Oh, you're
We're only
doing that
doing it
tomorrow night.
tomorrow instead of, well, only because the grandparents were like on vacation in Australia this month.
Oh,
So
what were they
we
doing
missed
there?
Hanukkah, because they were on vacation in Australia.
For like a month?
So, yeah.
Wow.
So, we missed Hanukkah because of that. So we'll do it tomorrow night.
And
And actually, what's funny about that, that's an American phenomenon. Um, Jews and other parts of the world don't celebrate Hanukkah with presents, really.
okay, so it'll be like Hanukkah gifts that you'll be giving, like it's in honor
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Hanukkah. Okay,
But it's only an American phenomenon.
it's only to keep up with the gift giving that's all around with the
It's just
Chris around the Christmas
because of
season.
the culture. Yeah,
Mm.
it's a culture thing over here. It's like the least important holiday.
So what is the big gift giving holiday for
Oh,
Jewish people?
Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are the big holidays, and
Okay,
then there's obviously Passover. Those are then Simchat Torah, and then Shemoni Atzeret. Yeah, I mean, there's a few other ones, but the biggest are Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
interesting. But like you, as a like an atheistic Jew, you just kind of do the um, do the how do I say this? Like you still go through the motions, but you don't really believe in it or something.
Well, I don't know why I wouldn't say I'm necessarily atheist.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I,
There, did I give you that impression?
kind of.
That's
I
good. It's a sign. It's a sign that I'm good at disguising what I actually think.
okay. So what do you actually think?
Um,
Because I'm actually
hmm.
reading Genesis right now. I've just finished Revelations. I go through the Bible about every 2 years, and
I
I've
think it's
just started
highly
Genesis.
likely. I think it's highly likely God exists, but I don't think God exists in the way people classically think God exists. Like, some sort of Zeus-like figure sitting in the heavens, zapping lightning bolts down and directly intervening, which is what I imagine most people are like.
No, I'm like, so like I said, I'm currently reading Genesis right now, and I'm reading that as like these people really existed, these things really happened. Do you believe that?
Oh man, that is another really good question. Oh man, it's very complex. I'll leave it at I don't know if those things happened. I will say that the Jewish origin story in terms of Egypt, which is a pretty major component
Right.
of like the Jewish religion, we do not have any archaeological or historical evidence that Jews were enslaved in Egypt.
That's not true.
We don't have any evidence. It's possible that we were maybe enslaved by some, I mean, there were other empires. It's possible we had relations of some kind with the Egyptians that just didn't. It's not like historical records are great when we're going back that far. Um, but there is no evidence of like mass enslavement. But, did someone like Abraham exist? That's a great question. Or is Abraham a placeholder for some other important historical figure?
Well, what about Adam and Eve? Just right there.
Do we have any evidence that Adam and Eve existed? Right. It's pretty generic names. How would you even like uniquely, we don't have any remains, right?
No,
It's not like we have
obviously.
written documentation. It's not like we have written documentation that these people existed. And again, it's a question of, if those people existed, maybe they were a couple among, many couples, right? And maybe this is a placeholder story
Well, my
or what
understanding of
really.
the biblical text is that that until that it was an oral tradition until Moses wrote down the Pentateuch.
Okay, so yeah, that so there's before the Torah was written, there was clearly it's at least strongly suggested that oral tradition coming from Abraham through his children and his children's children. And then after the Torah is written, it is accepted that there was an oral tradition that came with it, and then that got formalized after the fall of the Second Temple with the Talmud. So I don't remember. I have to look up when that was written. That was like 400 AD or something. That's old. The Talmud's old, but not as old as the Torah. 500, 580. Or wait, 500 CE. That's BC? Is CE BC? Yes. So 500 BC, that's approximately when the Talmud was beginning to be written. But I think there was stuff that we added to it after. Actually, some of these sites are saying 200. Anyway, that is the written form of the oral tradition, the Talmud.
All
That's where
right.
all the details are. That's where that's where the lawyer. If you read it, it's like lawyers arguing with each other. It's super technical.
And what's super technical?
The Talmud. If you try to read the Talmud, you'll think it's complete nonsense because it's like reading a legal document.
Is the Talmud different than the books that we have in the Old Testament of
So
the
so the
Bible?
Torah, yeah, you can think of the Torah as like the Jewish origin story plus things you're supposed to do, the mitzvahs, and then the Talmud is like how you do the mitzvahs precisely. So what it means, observe the Shabbat, right? That's like one of the Ten Commandments. The Talmud will probably dedicate hundreds of pages to explaining precisely what that means and what all the exceptions are and when you can violate the rules of Shabbat and when you can't violate the rules of Shabbat. And then the rabbis in the Talmud argue about it endlessly.
Do you hold to
It's such
Shabbat?
a meticulous.
Like at the end of
No.
Friday? Okay.
So you're talking about a Shomer Shabbos. I actually live next to a Chabad rabbi, but no, I I I don't because I think I used to, but I think the value for it disappeared for me.
Mm. Okay. Well, I appreciate you letting me in a little bit on your faith walk.
Well, I
Bef-
didn't answer your question was like, do these things exist? And it's like, wow, I don't know. I don't know if we have enough evidence for that. But actually, to answer your question, like, if I'm an atheist, I think it's more like I think our universe was created intentionally, but I do not know if it is a godlike figure as people traditionally think of it. It easily could be an AI, it could be an alien, it could be there could be like imagine an alien, we could be in a n-dimensional space and unaware of the other dimensions, and they are looking at us the way we would look at code that is unaware of our existence, right? It's like when we have simulators on the computer, they're in a two-dimensional space, but we observe them in three dimensions. The simulations in the computer are unaware of our existence. And in
Huh.
fact, what's kind of interesting is the simulations can create simulations. And I always pause at the question, do the simulations know that they're simulations? But it's also possible that there's like some sort of physical way that the universe got created. This is, you know, what was there before nothing is kind of a big hot physics topic. We get into like quantum fields, uh, and quantum tunneling and all kinds of crazy things.
Hmm.
But I do think, if you asked me, I do think there was a central planner, but I do not know if the central planner is some sort of mystical, omnipresent, omniscient, uh like magical being. I think of it more like the Matrix. Are you
So you
familiar with
so
that
you
movie?
yeah. So you would say that maybe this might be a succinct way of putting it. You believe in a God, but not necessarily a God that talks.
Well, it could talk. I don't know. But it could be that the way it communicates is so sophisticated, we like it just doesn't translate to us. It's kind of like, you know how we only see a part of the visible, we only see a part of the light spectrum. We
Right,
call it the visible light spectrum.
but what you're saying is if we
So
can't perceive it, then what's the talking really about? If
yeah,
the
maybe there it could be there could be communication happening, but just because of our evolutionary limitations, we are unable to receive that in the same way that our eyes evolved to only see visible light
So, despite
and
the
not
fact
all
of
the
the lack of evidence for evolution, you believe in evolution necessarily as a truth, as a law, not as a theory or an idea. Despite the
well,
lack of
I think
proof
all
for
theories are up for
evolution.
debate. I mean, I think there's a ignoring the evolutionary question. Our eyes are specifically designed to only see a certain part of the light spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that the rest of the light spectrum doesn't exist. So much like when you're literally like, "Oh, God can talk to you." Well, I don't know if that's true, or God could be talking to us, but we are simply not able to hear.
Well, then what's the point of
Remember,
speech to begin with? If God could talk to us but we can't hear, then what's the point of speech?
well, we may exist independent of human. You got to remember, all this stuff is human created.
No, I don't
Humans
believe that.
created a God.
I don't believe that.
So like, if you go back to like ancient humans, I guarantee you that when they wake up, they have to create some sort of origin story, because once we develop the capacity for speech and uh, and we discovered things and we built tools, there's no way we weren't having thoughts of why are stars there? What do these stars mean? Why
Yeah,
do I exist? There's a lot of metaphysics. There's a lot of metaphysics that was happening
but Richard,
long before.
you're making the assumption right there that I think is a false assumption that we started dumb, like we started in this primitive dumb phase and have gotten smarter and better and stronger and faster than our predecessors, which I don't believe the
I
evidence
would
points to
actually,
that.
I'm going to argue, I think we are dumber than our ancestors.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
not even having to go back to our
I would
ancestors.
agree.
I think if you go back in time, I think our writing quality has deteriorated.
I would agree.
I think if you look at some YouTube videos of people speaking in the 70s, which isn't that far back, you can find some average bloke who's probably just a high school graduate, and they are able to talk way above at a higher level than what people are today.
Like, what do you mean? I don't understand what you're getting at. I can't quite
The
follow you. I'm
they're
like trying to
coherent.
understand
They're
you, but I can't quite like understand what you mean by like what you're saying.
So I
All
also
right.
think people were more well. I have to be careful. Only some people were more well read, because obviously we had a stronger class system. If you go back a couple hundred years, if you were not a part of like a wealthy elite, your education would be very primitive. You may not even have a lot of people that were not even literate, right? So
Okay, to
I
change.
feel like writing quality. Okay, go on to the new topic.
Well, the reason why I'm calling or trying to do this little or like dive with you is to show you where I'm at in the game, show you what I'm dealing with in terms of my core in 1940. And I just first want to show you, verify that I started it correctly. So I go to new game, 40, and I set it up
Hmm.
like this. Can you see all this?
Oh yeah. Napoleon difficulty. You have to go all the way down to 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can give the AI max. Actually, giving the AI doesn't mean anything in his mod because they can't buy. I think. I think they can't buy, so it's like irrelevant.
Well,
And the AI
they
gets a little
can,
bump. Yeah, 25. Yeah,
and then reform units. That's it.
and then yep, Yep.
Okay, that's the way I started, and I imported the core that I finished with on December 18th,
Oh
and
man, 712 prestige.
yeah, and I did the very first time when I played this live, I was awarded a SE Brucken Pioneer. Okay, so
Oh,
I'll load up that one.
they're
I was
handy.
hoping that I would get. He's talked about having different SE units, but the only type of SE units that he has is either Brucken Pioneer or Standard Infantry. And to be honest with you, I'd probably rather have a Standard Infantry, even though they don't have a truck, because they are. That's just it. Because look at the.
Did you
This
select a
is.
Broken Pioneer? 1 second. Okay.
See how expensive
So
that
his
guy
he didn't
is?
adjust the stats. Okay. I modified them so they're much better. So you notice the initiative is 1,
Mm-hmm.
and the ground defense is 7. I bumped the initiative up 1, the ground defense to 10, and I upped their air defense to like 19. Just so, and it makes a big difference. Um, Also, I only gave him 4 ammo, I think. But the Broken Pioneers,
What did
and
you
when I made them,
make them cost?
they're like 256.
Oh, so they're even more expensive.
Yeah, I made them expensive. I mean, Deductor made them expensive, but I upped the cost further because I made the stat changes. They're actually really good. They just have 2 movement, and they have the benefit that they're quite strong on rivers.
Do they have that? Did you ever figure out how to do them to be able to walk one and then also walk onto the river in the
Yeah,
same
you can
turn?
change that in the movement file. That's for the whole game. In the data for the whole game, you
Okay,
can find that
currently
in.
that does not exist for his
Oh,
mod.
right. Because this is Lucarnus's mod, but doesn't he
Right.
have a movement file?
Yeah,
He has to have a movement file.
something.
So so the way it works is you go to the river, major river, and so on, and you're like, instead of all, I think it's like to use all your movement to go on the river. I think I did 1
For rivers, for
and
Broken Pioneer.
major rivers and stuff. So that way, if you're 2 away, you can just go on the river. I think that makes the bridge engineers a lot more interesting.
I would agree,
They're
but
more flex. They're
and
more
then
flexible.
I would be okay if they cost more, but right now they cost more and they're not that
Yeah, you
great of
should
units.
definitely tell the Carnus to upgrade them,
And plus
up the air
another
defense.
thing is that I thought he made it so that it didn't cost prestige when you buy regular replacements. I thought you said 1940 on, you should be good to go, not have, but it still
Did you
costs more.
update? Did you grab his? Did you grab
Yeah,
his latest mod?
yeah.
Could be a bug,
Well,
that,
it's bugging the
or
crap out of me.
maybe.
Well, actually, I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it costing a little money for regular replacements, and this is why, because it doesn't decrease the experience as much as the regular game
Oh,
does.
yeah.
So I'm kind of okay with it costing a little bit. I know that after this, or after Albert Canal, I'll have to start buying elite replacements for this guy. But right now, I can give him regular replacements and all that stuff. So I got most of my units because I just bought these guys in Norway, the Gebirgsjäger, and
Hmm.
he's almost a star already. So I feel
Yeah,
pretty good
yeah.
about that. And this Fallschirmjäger, and they're both um, doing quite well for being as you know difficult to give kills and whatnot.
By the way, Goose, you uploaded Spoils of War. Are you aware that the video you uploaded wasn't Spoils of War?
I I was aware after I did it already, and I feel stupid. That's why I'm loading the correct one tomorrow.
Because
I
I think
got
you
a
had a
little
part two. You have a part, but you
right.
had part 2 tomorrow. That confused me.
Yeah, it was originally. I originally thought I loaded our discussion about spoils of war, but I actually loaded the
Oh,
first part of the battle, thinking I had loaded the discussion, and then when I loaded what I thought was the start of the battle, it actually turned out to be a multiplayer game that I was playing with somebody else. Yeah, I'm making a little rather merry around Christmas, and I made some mistakes.
It's so cool.
Okay,
It's good that
so
you. I
so this is where I wanted to go with this a little bit. So I'm doing something not right according to your little parameters. I do give overstrength before I update or upgrade a unit. So I have my
isn't the point of Napoleon mode no overstrength?
right, but I give them overstrength right before I upgrade them because that makes sense to me. It's the you remember how you call it the sunk cost fallacy, and then I just have to do it. It's just what I'm gonna do. And if it, I forgot to read that part of your. It's not on Locarnus's.
Yeah, so that's part of why Napoleon mode is insane, is because you can't use overstrength. Unless it's SE. You can use overstrength on SE.
Yeah, I read that. I read that now that I read your uh, information a little more thoroughly. But yeah, I, I I've been giving my units overstrength before I upgrade them, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Is like so I upgraded Goose to from a 221 to a 222. Look at the difference
Okay.
in this 221 versus 222. The 221
Is it the 222 the version we get?
in the normal
Like in the
game,
base game?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it has
But
4 and 4. I love that, but
it has
it only has 2 vision.
oh, but I like the 4 vision more than the attack values.
You mean the 3 vision? It normally has 3 vision.
Well, I'm sorry, Deductor has 4 vision on them, but they're also more expensive.
Yeah, I would like.
The other thing Deductor does that radically changes the game is almost all scouting units have 4 spotting for the
Yeah,
enemy.
that would be difficult.
I think Soaring would have to completely revamp almost every map.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's something I wanted to discuss is okay, I have Soren himself as the Panzer Corps C and strength 8, but now I can upgrade to the 4D. Look at how large of an increase that is. So it's 99. It's just one
Damn,
extra, right? It's just one extra
that's
in,
not worth it.
well, yes and no. I have to. That's what I was going to discuss with you. It's almost 100,
Oh,
and what it does is it increases the strength from 8 to
yeah, I
10.
see. That is worth it. That is worth it.
Really?
Yeah,
I kind of
for
like
the
playing
extra
with
two
the 8
strength.
strength. Really?
Okay, I mean, I think you'll get more kills though if you
Mm,
have 10.
yeah, but I don't know if I need them. I this guy, the
Well, weren't you complaining about lack of heroes?
yeah, I don't have any. I don't have a single one. See, that's just 56 for 10 extra strength points. And then, so that's what I was going to discuss with you. I thought, because I want to buy Panzer 3, and that be Night Phoenix. But look at the difference. It's 80 uh, prestige points for 2 extra strength point. Two, and that's it.
I
That's
think
only
that's worth it. You're getting 25% more firepower.
8 versus 10 is 25%. You mean 20%?
You're going from 8 to 10.
Yeah, that's like 20%.
No, it's 8 minus 10 over 8.
Oh, stop doing math better than me.
So it's a 25% increase in firepower.
Mm, you think that's
I think
better?
that's pretty. Mhm.
Okay, see, this is what I was thinking about buying either this or this, but you think I should buy the 10 strength, and then I have a 8 strength Stug 3 that I love that I'm going to use. So that I think makes sense. So you're thinking I should upgrade all my units that have 8 strength to the 10 strength equivalent.
For more firepower, you get more dice rolls.
Because I was kind of thinking about
And,
keeping him as a 4C and maybe buying a new 4D
oh,
already
you
at 10
could
strength.
do that.
Well,
You could do that.
because I wanted to have two Panzer IVs that I wanted to start building up. And then I
That's fine. I think that
think,
makes sense.
hold on. What was I going to talk about doing? Anti-tank. No. Look at this blue flaw. He gave me a blue flaw, but it only has strength of 8.
What
It's
is
like
that?
a glass cannon. It's like an 88 put on a transport. Like a
It has no air defense. Or no air attack, excuse me.
right.
But its air defense is pretty low too.
Oh yeah, it's a glass cannon. I used them in Africa Corps, but they were 10 strength. Now we made them 8 strength, and they were kind of sucky there. That makes them really sucky. I don't know. I think I should. I have a 2 centimeter, and then I thought I had an. Oh, there it is. There's my 8.8. I still don't have him up to a star, but I'm close. All my artillery, of course, are almost all at 2 stars. This little sucker. Look at this guy.
You should this is what the rule should be for you, because I think
What?
this is substantially harder than the deductors mod. You should only be allowed 2 points of overstrength
What do you mean?
the whole campaign. Like you should only be allowed 2 points of overstrength. So the whole point of the overstrength restriction is so you can't do what you're doing. So you can't overpower the enemy by just because this isn't even Manstein, you're just if you get enough extra dice rolls with the overstrength, you just steamroll the enemy.
And are you
So the
okay
whole
with?
point of no the so the
I
whole point of no overstrength is to make you really be careful about combat and not just be like, LOL, I'm stronger than you. I'm gonna use my superior initiative and extra shots to completely shut you down. But if you just did 2, that would be okay.
So I kept Rudell so that I could deploy him in Minsk, so I could at least get the 2 bombers, so that I could get the prestige for both. I think that's smart, but Night Phoenix gave me some crap about that because, you know, we're not supposed to keep heroed units, right?
You're supposed to sell. You can't sell. You should sell. You can't use hero units as well.
No, I know, I don't. I've just used him that first battle, and then I'm going to deploy him
Yeah,
for
that's.
Minsk, so I can get the extra
Oh,
unit, so I can sell both.
okay. Uh,
That's the way I get prestige, buddy.
I'm. Uh, hmm. That's a loophole I didn't think about.
Well, I think about everything. Um, I'm trying to
Well,
think.
actually, this is so hard. Okay, I'll allow it, but you can't use the unit.
Okay, so
You can deploy it on the airfield, but you can't use it.
okay, so then,
That,
uh,
that okay.
so then, this is one restriction that I'm adding because I feel that I have an advantage that Night Phoenix does not have, and I think it's an unfair advantage. Um, I can, if I wanted to, I could deploy. Um,
2 fighters.
yeah, I could because I could buy, uh,
Well,
these guys a
I will
D.
be honest with you. The fighters are such garbage that I don't even see it as a positive that the variants exist.
I'm sorry. What do
Like
you
when I
mean?
was playtesting with the fighters, they were just getting smashed by Polish planes.
Um,
It was kind of absurd. So I was kind of like, I guess
I've taken 1 damage
these
on him.
variants don't mean.
4 damage on couch refusion.
Yeah, when I was playtesting them, the Polish planes were wiping my fighters out. So I was kind of like, these fighters that you can look at the stats are noticeably worse than the
Mm.
BF 109E. Uh,
Well, that's
so
why
you
they
probably
allowed
have
an
one good
upgrade to
fighter.
E3. It's an E3. That's why it's already.
Yeah, their
It,
air defense is terrible.
yeah.
It's so bad that I effectively view them as useless. Like you just can't like use them because they're going to take damage, like
Mm.
a lot of damage, not even a little damage. So I don't know how much of an advantage this actually is, except for maybe Albert Canal because there's a lot of bombers on that map. So you could trap a little bit more effectively.
This guy is also a fighter. He can be
Yeah,
a
the fighter
fighter.
bomber's good.
Yeah.
The fighter bomber's good.
So I feel like I can deploy 2 fighters already. So I think that's enough for me since I can use this as a fighter and switch it to a bomber. I think that's really ups this the use of him. This um, I'm sorry, yeah, the Junkers that I just bought in I don't remember Oslo. I is able to switch between a tac bomber and a strat bomber.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it is too. But I have never used it as a tac bomber. I've always used it as a strat bomber. But maybe, maybe I'm not using it correctly.
Honestly, in Deductor's mod, he bumped the stats on the Junker so well, it's almost like a tactical bomber.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's a reason it's so expensive.
Mm. Okay. Well, I think this is something I'm disappointed in. I I can't upgrade this. This costs full boat.
It's out of class though, that's right,
But
isn't it?
it's a
So
2 centimeter. Going from a 2 centimeter to a 2 centimeter.
the
Why would I?
Flaverling's not the same type of unit. Deductor's model lets you upgrade that 2 centimeter flak to an 8 to the 180 or the 18.8 later because it's in the same family.
The what?
But the Flaverling, isn't that like a home defense, air defense? Like typically, I don't think that was on moving armies. I think that was deployed to defend against the Allied bombings.
Mm.
It's like its own separate AA division.
Oh, so you wouldn't see it as
Like it doesn't shock me that that's considered out of class.
oh.
You shouldn't probably even have one like in your core just because it's like for home defense.
Hmm. He wanted me to wait to get the 10 or the the other S.
10 the 7-1.
Yeah.
Isn't that already available? Why
No,
isn't that here?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
Certain things are available, certain things are not. This is interesting. I can already upgrade to the Flam, but the Flam
The
is
Flam
not
existed in 40?
not in Locarnus's mod. It does, but not in
Any other
the
mod, I
regular
don't
game.
think.
Yeah, it doesn't appear until 41. But the Flam isn't the super Flam that it is in the game. It's only rate of fire of 1.1
Oh, did
instead
he?
of
I
the.
wonder if he nerfed it.
Yeah, he did. He did. It pissed me off. It made it not the fun beast it was in Africa Corps, and I railed about that, but I'm just gonna accept it. But I'm thinking maybe I just want to keep it the late model because it's a slight increase in
Oh
defense.
man, you know what the problem? The problem is there's too many units. You don't have a lot of prestige. You can't experiment. But you did Africa Core like low prestige, right?
Oh yeah, not
When you
not
did
twenty
when
five
you did
percent.
Lucarnus's okay, so you're used to that.
I did no,
I still
I
gotta
did
watch
just
your. I
I just did a
have to watch
regular
your.
bomber.
I need to watch your Lucarnus Africa Core, right? Because that was like the new one.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch that because I bet that was significantly harder than your double Rommel?
No, no, it wasn't.
It
It
wasn't?
was no, double Rommel was okay. So the first time I tried his mod, I tried it on Field Marshal Rommel, like together, and that was extremely hard. And so then I
Right.
scaled it back and just played it on Rommel, and then went back and replayed it, and he worked on giving it upgrades all the time and helping tweak certain units, and so the way that I played it originally would be different now because I know which units are not one like this one. I don't want to I don't want to mess with the blue flaw, even though
It's kind of expensive for being a glass cannon.
right.
Sure.
But that 18 strength, man, that sounds so
Yeah.
good until and
We have an
it moves
88 gun.
six, right,
Oh,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It moves six, man. It's like a cannon that shoots really good. Yeah, but it could be easily taken out. Which, um,
You know what you would use it for? Ambushing, especially if you could ambush in a river.
oh, I wonder if he has that.
It would.
I wonder if he has that trait on
Oh,
it.
is it an? Oh, it's an anti-tank. Can you camouflage it?
Well, I know all these are
That would be.
automatically. See, it has the camo.
Oh,
That has the
I bet you
camo.
can't camouflage it because it's moving
These
armor.
are these are not camoed, but this, um, where'd it go? Yeah, the Panzerjaeger. I really like the
Yeah,
way he does this. So I upgraded the Panzer One A to the Panzerjaeger because that was an in-house upgrade. Because these are on the chassis of the Panzer One. That's how the
interesting.
upgrades work. So when it's in tank mode, it can move five, but when it's in anti-tank mode, it can move one,
It goes one.
and it has
I
a
like that.
camo.
I Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really, really, really good.
But it's not available in the anti-tank. That's weird.
There's probably a technical reason. It's you have to mess around with the equipment file. It's non-trivial work.
And see, I can upgrade the Panzer One to the Bison. That's an in-house upgrade. So
Oh, I didn't know.
that's an
That's
advantage
interesting.
of the Locarnus mod, is that let's say I have an let's say I have an artillery that gets uh, you know, a lousy spotting hero. Well, then I can change that to this. We can change to a tank, and then I can change the
Mm-hmm.
tank into um, sorry. I can change the tank into what the hell? Something
Imagine
else
you put it
again.
on the Panzer One. Like you got a spotting hero on the Panzer One. That would be super useful
In what way?
because it's a recon. It's got recon move.
Yeah, I don't have any more Panzer ones. I changed it to the Panzerjaeger because this Panzer one
Well,
sucks.
of course it does. He gave it four movement, which nullifies most of the benefit of the recon.
Recon, yeah, this has
Panzer
five.
One B has five movement though.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
and with the extra movement you get on the road, that really helps.
right.
Yeah,
I also adjusted that in the file.
I like the
I like
fact
it
that
by the way because the enemy benefits from the road too. So it really changes some battles.
yeah.
It could change your entire strategy for how to approach something because you're promoting road use and you should promote road use because let's be honest, the vast majority of battles were about fighting on roads around cities, so you
Mm-hmm.
could move your stuff, right? Like,
And then you could set up
because it's
traps that way,
easier.
and so can the enemy.
That's right. That's right. That's something that should be in every. It should be in the base game.
Yeah. So, did you like the way I ended up playing Spoils of War with the
I couldn't
two?
see it.
Oh, I
Remember, you uploaded the thing
well, if you look at the
that
first one,
was
if you look at the first one that I put out 2 weeks ago, that I said was our discussion, it was not our discussion. It turned out to be the start of the video. So that's actually um, I don't have it labeled correctly. Um, it's the one where I play with the I can't go back to it. But actually, I think I can. I will go to no, I don't have it as a scenario. I'll go to the actual video. I have to clean this up.
Are you sure? Because you posted a spoiler video. It was your multiplayer thing. I didn't see you.
Yeah, I pulled it
or I
out.
didn't get notified. I'd
It
have to
was-
look.
It was over 2 weeks ago.
I don't think I got notified of you posting another Spoils of War.
I posted just today for the conclusion that I'm going to be airing tomorrow.
Right, but that's not. I don't think I've seen. I don't remember a post for the first part. I have to look.
So, I end up moving the thing I was showing you when I was talking with you. I ended up moving
the traps and so on.
Yeah, and that worked pretty good, but I had to save scum that first turn. The AI's counterattack, and I explain it right here that I have to do this because it's total bullcrap. It's total bullcrap that they didn't just let me, like I didn't get a first attack even though it says I should. Like right here, it says that I should get hit like 30%, and the first 2 times I hit like 1 each time. And I even hit him with the strap bomber, so.
Well, you're playing dice chess, so or no, you're playing full random, so that
right.
I mean.
I know.
It's so cool. The fighter bomber can defend the plane.
Right. This
because it has the fighter class label. Yeah, that is such a. I wonder, is that historically accurate?
What do you mean? Did
fighter bombers defend planes?
I actually don't know.
I've never heard anyone mention it before. So I wonder if he did it for balance reasons or if it's historically true.
Well, I mean, it acted like a fighter. That is true. It had
but I don't know if it was ever used as escorting.
I don't know that either. I'd have to. I haven't studied the air war near as much as I have studied the ground war. Same with the. I've studied somewhat of the sea stuff, but not near as much as I studied the ground stuff.
I think it's not glamorous and it's less attractive because of that. Okay, wait a minute. I did see the part 1. Yeah, you had to reload.
This twice when it
once
comes up.
Twice, yeah.
So it was the 3rd time that I finally got the.
Yeah, did you do a double ambush in the south?
Yes, I end up. That's what I do with the pack. See, that's such crap. That's such crap.
Well, it's random rolls, so the variability is 100%.
See, look at that. This is not
like
right.
Like the AI could roll 10 100s.
Right. But it's unsuppressed strength of 8. So I don't know how that worked when it had a 9 strength. I don't know.
You were defending, right? So your effective initiative was 6. Okay, so if you managed to kill or suppress all of him, he wouldn't have fired back. But you only killed 1.
Right.
So.
Oh, it was frustrating.
But also your kill and suppress is not that good. So you're only expected to kill and suppress
15%. He kills more.
Right.
The next time it happens.
But your kill suppress is only 35, so you're only going to suppress or kill like 3 of the enemy with a massive initiative bonus, I might point out. That means the enemy is expected to take 7 shots at you. And at 15%, that's at least 1 kill. So it's not like ridiculous that you took 2 hits. Right? You're expected to take 1.
I think it's freezing on me. That's not important. It's just frustrating. So that was the only battle that I did this on, and I still feel kind of bad about it. Cause
I don't know. It's pretty hard. Like Lucarnes is significantly harder.
You think
Well,
so?
I take that back. Lucarnis is harder, I think, in the beginning, but Deductor is going to be much harder later. Night Phoenix hasn't figured this out yet, but the prestige costs for elite replacements are going to get nasty because
Oh,
units are much more expensive. So
I.
once he gets those expensive tanks, the artillery, like once he gets these nice weapons he wants, he's going to choke to death on the price.
Mm,
Like the 17 centimeters, I think that's like over 600 prestige.
uh, what do
and
you mean,
then
like
and
the
then I think the
artillery?
21 cent the artillery, yeah,
Oh,
it's
jeez.
like over 600, and I think the 21 is 700.
Well, I know Locarnus's has their tigers are over 1,000.
Yeah, deductor a tiger I think is 1,000 or close
Yeah.
to 1,000. The tiger 2 is 2,200.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
Well, there's only like 500 of them made. They were very expensive. Like, let's be clear here. Soren's plans of running around with an endless supply of Tiger 2s is historically not what happened.
I still love Soren's playthroughs. They're so amazing.
I know, but obviously didn't have these uber elite tanks just being pumped out of factories.
Right? No. Here, let me pull up Locarnus's Africa Corps. I want to see how much his stuff cost in comparison.
I think they only made 30 mouse tanks.
I thought they only made two. I think
Ugh,
historically they only made two. I'm playing with
maybe they only made two.
Soviet Storm with like um, units they only made one or two of. I get them as bonus units when I
I feel
play a
like they should.
scenario.
I, I feel like you should have to be forced to disband it after
I
the
kind of feel that
scenario.
way too. I kind of feel that way too
Because
because it's
like
like this is
obviously the Russians were not running around after those battles with those weapons.
right. But then again, I like having a decent anti tank because the
But it's good prestige. I think you should get a lot of prestige for it.
yeah. Well,
In
I
fact, like if there was a way to do it, make it dynamic where if you wait to disband it, you get less prestige.
1,400
Like you do.
for 10
Yep.
strength,
Oh,
1,400.
that's cheap. That's cheap compared to deductor.
1,057. The tiger, it's 1,200 for 10 strength. Otherwise, with 8
The
strength.
elephant, the elephant is like 1,000 as well. I think I'd have to look precisely, but it's very. The
Uh,
Yag Panther is over. I think it's like 1,100.
yeah,
The
tiger,
Yag Tiger, he won't even
1,400.
let you buy a Yag Tiger
Oh, that little turd. Where is the
because
elephant?
I think they were very rare. So yeah, he only lets you buy the elephant at Kursk. If you don't buy the elephant, like within the first few days of
There it
Kursk,
is.
you can't even get one.
It's only 8 strength
Yeah,
and it's
that's about right.
919.
Yeah, that's close to deductor's cost for it.
And you see this. Oh, look at that
What is
guy.
that?
That's the Sturm
What the
Tiger.
hell is that?
It's the Sturm Tiger.
30 heart attack? Is that a mouse tank?
No, it's a Sturm
Look at the
Tiger.
initial.
It only has rate of fire of 3, though. So,
It has 27 ground defense.
yeah. But you can only
What?
you only attack with 3. That's ridiculous.
So it so I'm assuming it's because like it wasn't accurate. It's just armor. It's like impossible to kill, but it can't do anything.
Right. Right. These guys, Sturm Tigers, are nice. Yeah, so he has the Porsche version of the Tiger that was originally gonna that what they turned the elephant into. Yeah. So those have slight increases in power, whatever. The elephant has this best hitting power against hard targets. It's interesting. It was fun to play around with the various units. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing around with these in Grand Campaign. I'm not sure
Yeah.
he'll allow me to have a Sieg 333 because this was only in Africa. That's why the game never allows you to have it in the regular game, in the Grand Campaign. Did you know that?
I think the Doctor does, but the regular game, no.
Yeah, the regular game you can only buy
I
the
think
Bison
that they
2
call
in
it a Storm
Africa.
Panzer. Oh, I take it back. It's called the Storm Panzer 2. You can get that in the Doctor's Farm.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's the same thing as a Bison 2. So what were you contacting me about?
Well, I was gonna go through. I didn't know. I want to get your thoughts on the 8 strength versus the 10 strength,
Oh,
and
right.
you went right away. No, 10 strength, get more shots,
I
and
think
you were.
you'll be rewarded for it later.
I was just looking
You're
for
invested.
something cheap to buy. I really like the idea of.
The problem is you're so low on prestige that I don't even know if you should be buying anything. I think you don't
Oh yeah, I have
have
to
it.
buy new stuff. I have new stuff. I have to buy it. I'm. I want to
You don't have the prestige.
absolutely buy
You're at
this.
700 prestige.
Yeah, so I could buy those too.
What is that 8.8 blue? Oh, that's considered a tank.
What?
The under tank, the 8.8 blue flag.
Yeah, it
At
can
the yeah, what?
be an
Okay, he
anti-tank.
put it under the tank category. Okay,
I don't. I'm
okay,
looking to
that's
see what the
interesting.
difference are. I don't see technically any difference. So maybe he was. Initiative is worse as an anti-tank.
Because you're defending.
Hmm.
You're probably defending in that mode. Yeah, if he gave that camouflage and you parked it on a road,
Fun times. This guy.
that would just be.
This guy.
Doesn't the Panzerjaeger have camouflage?
Yeah. Only in anti-tank mode. Right there.
Ooh, if he gives a Panzerjaeger camouflage, why not that other thing?
Well, he wanted to give it to only the weakened units like the martyr.
Hmm.
Yeah, and in fact, that's what he talked about. That I was hoping that was be available when I started 1940 was because I would rather not have two Brooker Pioneers. Um, but he talked about like
You could
having
sell that one.
anti tanks. I know, but it's what I was awarded. Um, if Locarnus says you can get an anti tank, I will sell this off. But
Also,
if
you're giving trucks to your regular infantry.
nope, that was the one that was given. That's the one I
That's an
started with.
SE.
No, it's the one I started with. That was regular infantry. I upgraded him to pioneer.
Oh, you're
He
supposed
was
to
starting
upgrade
with
him without it. You're supposed to have no truck.
yeah, I know. Everybody,
Maximum pain.
but they gave him a truck at the start of the scenario.
Well,
So
I changed the starting scenario so that my guy doesn't have a truck.
well, that's your playthrough.
Well, I because I want maximum pain. It's kind of true. Like the bulk of the German army was not moving in trucks.
Well,
They were moving.
the only thing that is moving
They
in
were moving.
trucks is my Bruken Pioneer and my Pioneer.
They were actually walking or horses sometimes, or they would get on a tank.
All my
Sometimes the tanks.
all my artillery for the most part, except for the
Well, yeah, you
Polish.
can have trucks on the artillery because it's completely ineffective otherwise.
No, I have them in horse transport.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's brutal. It changes the strategies
Yeah,
actually
it,
because you can't move them in place fast enough.
this is so. I like this so much because I have it
What
paired with
what
my
is that?
Gebirgsjäger. It's like a 7.5 Gebirgsjäger type of artillery that has two movement in the mountains, and I have it paired with a pack.
Oh,
I have it paired with a pack horse, and it can move three in the mountains and keep up with Gebirgsjäger in the mountains.
well, how much is a pack horse?
It's 15.
Whoa, that's super interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
I didn't know. Is that true? Did they have like pack horses to carry their artillery with them? I do like that versatility.
Mm.
There's all kinds of sneaky things you could do with that.
So this guy is okay. So I can upgrade Kai in house to the 21 centimeter, but I don't
It's
want to
really
do it.
cheap.
Yeah, don't think of it as cheap. That's
It's it's Doctor's Mod, but that's really cheap compared to that. Okay.
so I want to wait until I can get it to its second star so I can boost it up 2 stars or
Does the
two
twenty-one
overstrength.
centimeter suffer from the same things a 15 will suffer from?
I'm not sure what you mean. This
Like
has
you
range
can't.
of 4 and it
Well,
has
what I
rate
mean
of
is,
fire
if
of
you move it,
5.
you
I
my
can't
what I
move it.
mean is, if you move it, can it fire?
It can't move. No,
So,
it's this can't.
oh
This has movement of 0. I only move it with a horse transport. This I
yeah,
have
that's
to upgrade it, and
also has movement.
I also have to give it a super expensive, uh, you know, transport.
It makes sense. It's like a heavy duty. That's that's a very heavy duty artillery piece. So
Right, right. So I only want to upgrade it to that next level when it
it also has a rate of fire of
has
5.
right. So I want to give it 2 at overstrength, so it has at least 6 shots, and I want to do that on the cheap, and so that's why I will wait to give it the or upgrade it to the better unit. So I think the only things I need to upgrade, in my opinion, I don't want to upgrade anything. I just want, except I want to upgrade this one to this one, which is super cheap. But I think I want to keep these all at 8 strength for this battle, and go in with buying the Night Phoenix and then
Mhm.
another Stug 3. Then I'll name. I got some people that have joined my. I got
You said another Stug 3. Do you have one already?
no, no. I just want to
Oh,
buy a Stug 3.
yeah, they're awesome.
Well, kind of, but it only has strength 8, and I because I don't
Hmm.
see anything. I think it's just rate of fire of 1 instead of the 1.1 that hopefully comes later.
Yeah, Deductor did the same thing. He nerfed the Stug 3A
To
or the
what?
Stug 2A, whatever. He nerfed it, and then you get the Stug 3B in 41.
Mm.
But it's still really good, even after nerfing it.
And good in what way? Because most people do
It's
not like
still it's
Stug
it's still good
threes.
at it's good at suppression. It's good at kills. It's good at supporting fire.
Does
You
it
have
have the
less
switch
ammo, which
capability?
is no,
Oh,
no.
it's only an artillery.
Yeah, yeah. It's only artillery. Yeah, that this is better actually.
Yeah, I
This
agree.
is better that it has switch.
I agree because
I
that
could imagine that being a switchable unit though, easily.
right, absolutely. Most of these units, the switches
Man,
make sense.
why didn't Panzer Corps 2 have all this?
What do you mean?
Like,
What do
imagine
you?
Panzer Corps 2 was like, we're giving you all this stuff plus these new tactics.
Panzer II was such a disappointment, in my opinion.
Because it could have been. Imagine they kept the hex based system, did equipment upgrades like this with more flexibility, and then like more gameplay options, and then they threw in all of those tactics
No, they wanted to
that
go
they,
for flashes and
yeah, they had to go 3D.
sounds. Yeah, so disappointing.
Technically, you can play 2D, I believe, in Panzer Corps 2.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I think it's an option.
Oh, that might make it playable
Hmm.
because then you would um, it wouldn't break down on most computers.
Well, it's not that I could play it. It's just that
Do you have it?
I found it visually. I didn't buy it, but I find it. I watch other people play it. I find it visually busy.
Mm.
Uh, like this game is easy for me to understand when I look at it.
Panzer Corps, the original.
Yeah, like when you look at this, it's like, okay, I get what's going on. All of the thinking is about what am I going to do about what I see.
Mm.
Whereas that game felt modernized in this flashy way, and I almost feel like there's a bunch of stuff happening that would be hard to keep track of if you play Panzer Corps 2. Visually, I was overstimulated, is the way I would put it.
Well, that's disappointing to think about that players like us who care about the game immensely are just not even attracted and giving it a go.
That is modern. That's our modern capitalism. That's how it works. If you're not making somebody money, then you're not valuable. That's just that's the system. That's the world we live in. Your value is tied to how you make other people rich.
Right. That's why
So,
my little uh, do you, I put on the forum. I pay $1,000 for upgrades to Panzer Corps, like a Panzer Corps Platinum, to for them to finally pay attention. Did you see that? I put it up like I think a couple
oh,
years ago.
what I want. I want them to take all of those tactics they introduced in Panzer Corps 2, which were brilliant, and I wanted them to shove that in to Panzer Corps 1, which would take a lot of programming, obviously, and playtesting, because there'd be a lot of debugging. But imagine like 10 times as many tactics.
I I'm still wrapping my mind around all the tactics I'm trying to do with
I
Napoleon,
know. It would be like you would never run out of material.
and that's the key. Oh, so this is what I put up there back in 2022, um, and that's
2950.
well, I got other people to buy into what I
Okay,
said.
what is the 2950 for?
For okay, so I'm done playing footsie around here. Our desire for definitive edition of our favorite game, so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. $1,000 is my starting number. I'll start a GoFundMe page right here, and everyone who is willing to add this amount,
So,
yeah. So I got other people to join me for 1,000. Some people said 100. Some people said,
oh, I would say, you know what the biggest change they could make is that if they could adjust the AI code, but I have a feeling, okay, my feeling on this is AI, first of all, is extremely hard to program. So I don't blame them for having trouble. But it's possible that they don't have the money to hire the people that have the correct skill set to program the AI. Because anybody with that skill set is probably working for Apple or Microsoft or Google making seven figures.
mm,
So it's a question of like we're just not talented enough to the biggest complaint people have is the AI. We're not talented enough to do it. And they can't come out and say that because it makes them look bad. And I don't think it makes them look bad. I think it's just the people that have the talent to program good AI are extremely rare. And this company does not have that kind of money.
no, no.
They don't to like you could program good AI, it would take a long time. There would be a lot of playtesting. The code to write that would be very complex, but you'd have to pay somebody getting paid seven figures working for Apple, Google, and Microsoft to pull them away from a lucrative career. You'd have to pay them absurd money.
Yeah.
You know, this is a small company. I don't even know how many people they have working on this game. Is it even double digits? Like
I,
actually coding the game?
oh, God, I saved it on Africa Corps. Why did I do that? I don't know. I'm going to need to go to bed. Got to wake up early
Yeah.
and deal with all the fires I got to put out tomorrow with my job.
You can have my job. I'm a single contributor with no direct reports.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
But that means you're flying solo.
I love it. I love flying solo.
I
And
like
you
being
haven't
part of
figured
a
out.
team.
You haven't figured. I'm super introverted. I'm very introverted. I like.
S-
I find people difficult to deal with.
you say that, you say that, Richard. But look at the way you interact with people. Look at the way that you know put yourself out there and do the gaming and the talking with. You're not as introverted as you think.
I'm extroverted on things I care about, but try to have an hour-long conversation with me about artwork.
Well, that's. I think that's just about anybody. You could say. Say have a conversation with
Also,
somebody that they're not
I
interested in.
guarantee you, Night Phoenix is introverted. I guarantee you, Soren is introverted.
Yeah.
Just they they communicate. This is a different medium of communication. Yes, I absolutely can communicate with people, and I'm quite friendly at work. But I only really like talking about deep topics. Eh, Like I'm currently reading a book on the ancient Roman Empire and how it worked. I also have another book on how the ancient Roman military worked.
Mm.
I'm also studying Grandmaster repertoire for my chess openings. Like, so I'm giving you context. Like, this is what I do in my spare time, right?
Right.
I'm also, I also study like, data analytics topics.
Yeah.
I'm training somebody to become a chess master on my floor. They're almost a chess master. They come to my apartment and I train them.
Wow.
The
See
conversations I
that
have
that
on
in and of
Discord with,
itself is an extroverted type of activity.
but it's about
Training
something I really care
somebody
about.
exactly. But couldn't you
My
classify that as any of us? We want
But
to
the
talk
thing is
about the
that
things that we care
the,
about.
I can't do this with normal people. The vast majority of people, when I engage with them in any context, including work, they don't understand what I'm talking about.
Meaning,
And my typical conversations with Discord on friends is like topological spaces and linear algebra or some crazy thing in physics. I post astrophysics videos from Dr. Becky. Uh, like, my Discord conversations are, you know, unusual, to put it mildly.
unusual in what way?
How many people do you know talk about astrophysics ever?
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Ever. I'm not even talking, like, I'm not even a physicist, okay? I'm not an astrophysicist, but I like watching astrophysicists. How many people do you know watch mathematicians? Like, I watch this Michael Penn guy. He's a mathematician and he'll prove something. Like, I watch stuff like that for fun, and I will talk about that with my friends who are all essentially math people. There's a certain personality type I'm attracted to. Almost every person that's a strong chess player has a mathematical or scientific background. Almost like I'm not even joking about this. Almost every person that's a strong chess player, they go on to get PhDs, they go to elite universities, they become economists, doctors, like, and those are the kinds of people I like to hang out with. Now, how many people do you know that are like that?
Not too many.
Do you see the problem here? I'm introverted because I don't really fit in.
You don't
Does that
find
make sense?
people. You don't find people that are into the same things as you are.
Correct.
It takes some
But
more.
Goose, you're easy to talk to because we're into Panzer Corps.
Hey, but we don't
And
always
you're
just
also
talk
into
about
politics.
Panzer Corps.
You're
Yeah.
into politics. I'm less into politics these days. I'm so bored to death by it, and it's just scandalous. So I am putting my energies into other things.
Yeah. Me too. I'm
I find
focusing on
politics
local. It's like
good.
yeah. It's
That is like so much better use of your time.
right. Right.
It's like and everything on the news is not true, pretty much. It's like people should. I literally tell everyone. Somebody came to me and they're like, "Oh, can you believe that they're reporting this poll says blah 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 blah?" And then I'm like, you know what? You would spend. It would be better for you to stop reading newspapers and stop reading news and stop watching news and go read a book on
Right.
practically anything. Your life would be dramatically better. I I think people should just stop. Like they should almost throw their TV out. I don't even have cable. I have a TV to play like games on, but I don't have cable or anything. I don't get a newspaper. And I
I,
think people should just tune it out. It's called
absolutely.
getting white pilled. White pilled is the next level beyond red pilled. White pilled is like, okay, I'm not going to engage with this content.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because every time you engage with the content, you're making somebody else money.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I pay attention to who I pay attention to, and as far as other most of the other stuff is just white noise.
Like you have a family and a wife that you've been married to for many years. Like all this other stuff just is so irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like just focus on that. Enjoy the good times while they're here.
And it is a good time. And it was nice talking to you,
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah.
Let's do this again.
Bye.
You have a blessed day.
Yeah.
Bye. Happy New Year.